Life is a journey and sometimes can be a lonely road.
I must say that I love your sound bites, the intro was actually soaking me to prepare me for this interview. I think that henceforth, anytime I'm going for an interview, I have to listen to sounds like that. It has really given me some sort of power to really begin this interview.
We mind to discover, we learn to discover, we observe to discover. Friends can uncover you at the same time discover you. But I don't want to discover you, I would rather discover more, so I go on the internet and I listen to words of wisdom and intellect. Availability of information, interviews of great men and women all over the diaspora and all nations. Creativity at its best, dexterity of research, no need to go through any formal education. I introduce you to the Discovery Show. Let your friends and your family know the struggles before the blow, their highs and their lows. Pay attention to this show, it will make you feel at ease. The Discovery Show on YouTube got the steez. Now Perry, the presenter, please pose for the camera. I wanna hear you say cheese. We are airborne like a flu. I wanna hear you sneeze. True.
Hi, thanks again for joining us here on the Discovery Show. Here on the Discovery Show, we seek to interview professionals in the diaspora and beyond who are making significant impact in the area of politics, healthcare, academia, religion, and what have you. And basically, the idea is that we seek to enlighten the path of people. We learn together and rise together. And so here we say, yearn to learn. My name is Precious Adadidiodu, your regular host, and this program is ably produced by James Kwabena Opon and sponsored by Handbag 60 Hub. I'll tell you a bit more about Handbag 60 Hub later. But today we are privileged to be speaking to another man. He is actually a PhD student at Stellenbosch University or University of Stellenbosch in South Africa, and Hasselt University also in Belgium. So he's a very big man. He's no other person than a friend and a brother. He is Daniel Afrifa. Daniel, you're welcome to the Discovery Show.
Thanks, bro. It's nice being on your show. I hope to enjoy myself today. I've watched people come here and then explain what they do, and I wish I can also enjoy myself today. Thanks.
Amazing. Thanks so very much for agreeing to be here. Of course, I've introduced you briefly, but feel free to tell us a bit about yourself. If there's someone watching us who doesn't know you at all, who is Daniel Afrifa?
Okay, basically, I'm Daniel Afrifa, a young man and a simple man, as you've known me since our heydays. And then I'm married to Mrs. Lisbeth Kuneduboche, and I have a child with a child whom I affectionately call Tito. So, and then I'm a PhD student, as you said, at Stellenbosch University in South Africa, and then Hasselt University in Belgium. It's actually a joint PhD where I'm doing, and I come to Stellenbosch and then go to Hasselt all throughout the year. Again, also I'm a Christian, and then I worship at the Church of Christ. So basically, this is just a few things to know about me.
Amazing. Can I safely conclude that you're a big man? I mean, doing a PhD, a joint PhD in 2 different countries. Charlie, you're a big man. Thanks for sharing with us.
It's all by the grace of God. You see, it's all by the grace of God, Charlie.
Amazing. Thanks so very much. So, I mean, let's explore your educational background a little bit. I mean, you are currently doing a PhD, but can you tell us down memory lane, where did you start from? Where have you been up to this level?
Okay, basically, from my primary school, I started at King's International School, which was the 4th site then in Tafunshire, so which was then one of the best international schools in Kumasi. And then from there, I went to Adventist Junior High School in Old Tafo, Kumasi, Ghana. And then from there, I went to Konongo Dumasi Senior High School. And then I came to University for my first degree in the BSc Sports and Exercise Science. And then from there, I also did my master's in University, my MPhil in Human Nutrition and Dietetics in University. And here I am doing my PhD in Stellenbosch and Hasselt. So basically for my academics, it hasn't been smooth though, but I've really enjoyed the ride.
Amazing, amazing. And that brings us to what I would like to ask you, sports and exercise science. I happened to hear of this program during application process and then more so when I was in the university. If there's someone watching us who perhaps is hearing this for the first time or even has heard it but doesn't know much about sports and exercise science, what does it entail, and what are the qualifications, so to speak? Because I mean, sometimes I know people make jokes about different programs and all that. When we talk about sports and exercise science, what does it entail?
Okay, so for every sports and exercise scientist, you are looking at 4 key things. And so it cuts across 4 key areas. One, we are looking at athletes' performance. So we are looking at sports performance in general. So how to improve performance of athletes. The second one is also, you are also looking at people who already have some chronic conditions, how to prescribe some exercises to prevent and then treat chronic conditions. For people that already have it, you prescribe exercises to treat them. And then for those who already have some signs or symptoms and then they are developing we also prescribe some form of exercise. And then again, you also look at exercise promotion. So these are generally the 4 main areas where sports and exercise scientists look at. And so for anyone who is coming into sports and exercise science, the industry, it's in Ghana, I would say that it's a virgin. It's basically untapped. There are so many areas in Ghana where we can tap. And I feel that if we are able to look at that field, it will really help us, not only for our athletes, but also cut down on our health costs. And then cut down on our health costs, especially because if you look at most of these chronic conditions that basically we are being affected with these days, you realize that exercise plays a key role. And so if you really want to look at that aspect, whereby government spends so much of money trying to cut down our health costs, and then if you look at the health the health bill, then you realize that we are spending so much on that. So I think exercise also plays a role, and then we should be able to look at that aspect. And so for us as sports and exercise scientists, these are the 4 areas that we are looking at. And so if anyone is coming in, then the person should be ready, or if anybody has any interest in any of these 4 areas, then sports and exercise science will be a good area for him.
That's great. Good to know about that. I mean, of course, I've learned something, even though I've been with you guys for quite a while. But I mean, of course, off the top of my head, I know University offers sports and exercise science in Ghana. Are there any other universities in Ghana and in Africa, if you know any, in case there's someone watching us from any other place, Nigeria, Ghana, wherever? Can you think of any other universities that offer sports and exercise science?
Yes, in Ghana, basically 3 aside University, 2 other universities has also started doing similar programs. The University for Health and Allied Sciences in Ho has already started. So, and then UCC, University of Cape Coast, has also started a program in sports science. And in Africa, for example, in South Africa, it's one hot cake here in South Africa. Most of their universities are doing sports science. And then in Nigeria also, I know there are some universities in Nigeria which also do sports science. Even though it's in Europe where it's common, in Africa it's still an untapped area, especially in South Africa, which places so much priority in sports science. Most of the other African countries is still developing that area. And so I think that we still need more people to come in there, not only for our athletes, but also to be able to prescribe exercises that will exercises that are tailored to meet the needs of individuals who have chronic conditions and those who do not really have chronic conditions.
Thank you, viewers, for being here. We are grateful for your time. we are speaking to Mr. Daniel Afrifa, who is a PhD student. He's doing a joint PhD at Stellenbosch University in South Africa and also Hasselt University in Belgium. So he's a very big man, very big man. You keep mentioning untapped potentials and all that in the area of sports and exercise science. If someone is a graduate and has just finished their first degree in sports and exercise science, what are some of the career pathways or opportunities that exist for such a person?
Okay, basically for sports science, there are, like I said, there are a whole lot of specialties. So we have strength and conditioning for people, especially for the athletes, for performance, for athletic performance. We have strength and conditioning where you need to train them to be able to improve their performance. We also have exercise prescription at the various cardiothoracic centers. So anybody who wants to be able to prescribe exercise for people that have gone through surgery, that have any exercise, that is also another career path that the person can also follow. Again, we are also looking at sports nutrition, which is also an untapped area in our field too. So we also sports nutrition. We also have clinical exercise rehabilitation, which is also an untapped area. So there are a variety of areas that the person can also look at. And basically elsewhere, they're trying to use they also have what we call the biokinetics, which is also another area that the person can also go into. So basically, there are a whole lot of areas that the person. So you are looking at strength and conditioning, you are looking at biokinetics, you are looking at clinical exercise rehabilitation, you are looking at exercise physiology. So even with exercise physiology, you are looking at clinical exercise physiologists, and also you are also looking at sports nutrition. So these are areas that the person can also go to at the master's or the postgraduate level.
I'm thinking these terms or specialties sound a bit technical. If you can put some meat to it and say that, okay, when we talk about, clinical nutritionist or whatsoever, perhaps you are working in a hospital, this is what you do, sports nutrition, this is what you do, so that people can understand it better. If you can use about 5 minutes.
So when you are looking at exercise physiology will look at how the body responds to exercise. And for clinical exercise physiologists, you can obviously work in an hospital, especially for in departments or in areas in the health sector which needs exercise professionals, because for them, they are people that already have chronic conditions or they have any underlying conditions, and they need people to be able to prescribe exercises for them. So for clinical exercise physiologists or exercise physiologists, they can really work in the hospital. Again, for clinical exercise rehabilitation, they also look at both athletes and then non-athletes. So they can work in the sports sector and they can also work in the exercise, in the health sector. Again, you're also looking at sports nutritionists, which is basically for athletes. So not only for athletes, but also people that also have chronic conditions like obesity, which needs both nutrition and then exercise to be able to reduce their weight. So you are looking at these people. You are looking at people that have nutritional background, people that have an exercise. So for sports nutrition, you can look at performance also, and you can also look at helping people that have underlying conditions like diabetes and others to also be able to live healthy and then improve their well-being. Again, but you are also looking at strength and conditioning, and for them, they also work within the sports sector. Especially, you realize that when teams are about to play, you realize that they come onto the page to do their warm-up, and then you realize that there is someone who leads them to do their warm-up before they come onto the field to play. So these are people that also help them. So we have strength and conditioning specialists who help them to also improve their performance through their exercises and then their training. So basically, these are a few I can talk about now, but there are a whole lot of specialties within the sports and exercise science industry, which all of them helps to play a role to improve performance and then the general well-being of individuals.
Thank you, Danny. I'm happy you were able to come and you've been able to expatiate this, because sarcastically, people used to talk about your program as though it's all about physical education, PE, and sports.
Of course.
But now you've been able to explain it, and I'm sure it looks very exciting to people who might be looking for opportunities in other areas. So thanks very much for being here and explaining this to us. Just a sec.
Meet Mr. X, an unhappy businessman who has been waiting for days for his goods to be delivered. Unlike Mr. X, business is booming for Mr. K because of his efficient partnership with Hembeck 60 Hub, also known as HP 60 Hub. We are an online platform that sources for goods from across the globe. We only pull high quality standard products from anywhere in the world and ship them right to your doorstep. Be it watches, clothes, bags, and many others, do get in touch by contacting us on www.henbeckagency.myshopify.com, or you can call us on +233 546 022 952 or hembeckTravels@gmail.com. Hembeck 60, truly a world of endless possibilities.
Thank you for still staying with us, viewers. We appreciate your time. So this program is ably sponsored by Hembeck 60 Hub. Hembeck 60 Hub. You can contact them on Facebook. The name is Hembeck 60 Hub, or you can send them an email at henbecktravels@gmail.com. henbecktravels@gmail.com, or you can contact them on +233 546 022 952. That's +233 546 022 952. And basically, if you need bags, books, watches, clothes, and footwears to be sourced from the best of companies, quality materials, and shipped to you wherever you are across the globe, Hembeck 60 Hub is the best agency or company to do this for you. They provide the best of quality materials, durable, they will reach you in time without any troubles. So here at Hembeck 60 Hub, we say a world of endless possibilities. Again, you can contact them on +233 546 022 952 or henbecktravels@gmail.com, or just send them a Facebook message at Hembeck 60 Hub. They are the proud sponsors of this program. My name is Precious Adadidiodu, ably produced by James Kwame Opon, and I've been speaking to Mr. Daniel Afrifa, who is a PhD student. He's actually doing a joint PhD at Stellenbosch University in South Africa and Hasselt University in Belgium. So, I mean, Danny, let's explore this a little bit. You spoke about you pursuing a master's degree in Ghana. I know back from KNUST, you would have loved to straight away move outside the country, go and do your postgraduate studies and all that. But before that opportunity presented itself, as for you now, you took that opportunity and went ahead and did a master's in Ghana. I just want us to explore that opportunity. If there are people watching us who perhaps want to travel outside the country, wherever they may be, but that opportunity has not presented itself, what will you tell them? Do you think the educational system we have back home is so bad that we don't have to take it up at all? We don't have to take that opportunity at all. What will you tell us, because you have gone through that process?
I really don't think the system we have in Ghana. Yes, we all know we have some challenges, but then I don't think it's that bad. Because I'm saying this because if you look at most Ghanaians that have had at least a first degree education, even those who have had a secondary education, a secondary school education in Ghana, goes up there and then they are able to do excellently well. Yes, we have some challenges, which I feel we all know that if we have to talk about the challenges, probably we wouldn't end. But then I also think that, yes, we may all want to go out there to explore. We may all want to go out there to have our postgraduate. But if you have not had that opportunity, and then there is an opportunity in Ghana, I would gladly advise you to take it. Basically, when I completed my first degree, there were so many areas within sports science that I wanted to explore. But then upon some consultation with some people, I realized that, look, there is an opportunity here in KN University. Why don't take it up? And I took it. And basically it was through those that opportunity that I took way back in KN University for my master's that have brought me this far. So I think that yes, we may want to go up there. It may be our dream to also be able to go to UK, to be able to go to US or wherever we think that there is an opportunity for us to do our postgraduate. But if the opportunity isn't there, and there is in Ghana, please take them, because after that, there is an opportunity that you can use that master's or you can use that PhD to probably do a PhD elsewhere, a postgraduate. I know someone who did a PhD in Ghana and someone who did a UK, and they were all teaching. And then if you look at the impact that the person who did a PhD in Ghana is making, it's absolutely. So I don't think that it is so bad that we will say, oh, I don't want to. It's so bad that I don't want to. But then if the opportunity is there for you to do it, while you wait for the opportunity to come, don't waste your time. Take that opportunity and do what? You never know what may come out of it.
Interesting. Thanks very much for sharing with us. On this platform, we say yearn to learn. I think a lot of people most times want to travel outside to have a taste of how the educational system is out. But like we have rightly highlighted, if that opportunity hasn't come yet, you can still take an opportunity and get the best out of our educational system so that you don't have to be waiting and, so to speak, be wasting time whilst waiting to move out. So that is what I take away from this, and I think it's a very important point. So Danny, do you want to tell us a bit about, your journey so far? You've had different experiences here and there. What do you think are some of the things perhaps your profession is doing so well in, maybe one or two, and maybe where some challenges may be, so that we can see how best to improve that profession if there are colleagues of yours who are watching in that regard?
Yeah, I believe that in Ghana, one of the key issues has been the unregulated gyms. Anyone stands up able to open a gym because he has money, and so anybody goes there. We have people who do not have any training, just that the person has been able to go to the gym for some time, able to lift one or two weights, and so he feels he's a fitness trainer. So these are some of the challenges I feel we should also look at, because basically it has always been it has always been at the heart of most of the people that I know who are into the profession, that look, if this industry, if we have to improve, if we have to let people understand that this is what we need to do, then we should have some form of regulation. We should have some kind of registration, which I think the department in KN University and then the department in UHAS, I think in UHAS it's even a school of sports and exercise medical sciences, which are collaborated with the National Association in trying to look at, collaborate with the Allied Health to look at how these professionals could be registered and licensed. So I think this is one area I feel it's at the heart of all the people who matters in the sports and exercise science industry. So yes, this is it. Again, one aspect of it is about how, and I know it also goes back to education, because most people really don't understand what sports and exercise science is. And so even in the universities, when people realize that this person is doing sports and exercise science, they tend to look down on the student. And sometimes we try to let them know that, look, you are not really lost. You are in an area where if you really want to work hard, then you will have to put in all your best. So I think education should also go and let people know that this is sports and exercise science, and then there is a whole lot of avenues that the person can really make an impact. And so yes, so these are the two things I feel people within the industry should really look at, and then look at how best they could educate, let the education go out there for people to really understand them. And again, also with all the stakeholders to also look at how best they could look at the licensing and registration of the sports and exercise science professional.
Thank you, Danny. Viewers, kindly send in your comments. If you have any questions for us to ask Danny or Daniel Afrifa, we'll be happy to ask him. So please feel free. If there's anything we've discussed so far, anything you think might fall within his professional domain and you want to ask, please drop your comment in the chat and I'll definitely read out for you. And also kindly subscribe to our channel and share our link for others to also learn. That is straightforward. Are you able to tell us, perhaps you want to use yours as an example, how did you secure a scholarship? And also, if there's someone watching us who might want to pursue a PhD or even a master's or scholarship in South Africa, do you have any tips, any guidance for the person?
Oh yes, yes. You in your submission, you said that why Ghanaians are attracted, because you know that most Ghanaians are coming to South Africa. Yes, if you look at the research output coming from Africa, South Africa alone gives about 10%. So you should understand why people are coming in. And basically, I can say that they have the best university education as when it comes to research, and then others, they have all the infrastructure almost like any European country. So yes, they do. They in Africa, they are the best, and no wonder that anytime the rankings come, you have their universities being about 7 in the first 10. That is just another. But then coming to South Africa entails a lot. For Stellenbosch, where I am now, if you are coming, basically in South Africa, you need to have your certificate verified before you can even apply. So any school in South Africa that you want to apply to, you will have to send your certificate to what we call the South African Qualification Authority for them to verify your certificate for them. And then the certificate that they also give to you after verification, you can use that to apply to any university. And there are a whole lot of research. Sorry, there are a whole lot of scholarships in South Africa, a whole lot. And you see, they are making conscious effort to fund postgraduate education. And so if you are coming here, there are a whole lot of research. They have the NRF, they have a National Research Foundation where each year they give a whole lot of research to put a scholarship to postgraduates. And it's quite competitive like any other scholarship. It's quite competitive because basically for them, they will look at their own. So they will look at the South Africans before they even come to look at the countries in the southern region, the South African Development Authority, the region, the South African countries, before they even look at the whole of Africa and then the rest of the world. So it's quite competitive. So imagine you coming from West Africa and then you have to compete with people already. South Africans will be giving premium, and then before people from the southern region, and then before the rest of Africa, and then the rest of world. So it's quite competitive. So if you want to apply for any scholarship, you need to make sure that everything is intact. You need to make sure that you have all the things that they need. Sometimes you see people applying for scholarships.
What do you mean by everything they need? What specifically do they need?
No, it depends on the scholarship you are looking for. But basically, in general, what they need is they will look for your transcript. Be your first degree. If it's a master's, they will look at your transcript. And then you shouldn't have for most of them, you shouldn't have less than 65. If you have for CWA, or if you have 65, less than 65 CWA, then it means you don't even qualify. So if you have 65 and above, then you qualify for most of their. So basically, this is, and then you have your proposal ready.
Is it for both
so if
masters
you have your
and
proposal
PhD?
ready, and then
I'm
So if
talking
you
about
have
the CWA. For PhD, do they also go back to look at your CWA for your undergrad as well?
Yes, they do.
65, okay.
Yes, they do. They do. If you are for PhD, you must make sure that wherever you are, your thesis or your research output the grading shouldn't be less than 65.
So I think what I'm trying to ask is that, assuming someone had, let's say, a CW of 60, and you ended up doing a master's, but perhaps you got distinction in master's, but your undergrad didn't meet that 65 criteria, will you be rejected, or your master's should override that?
Your master's should overrun that before they come to. But then they will also give premium to people who already have who already qualify for their first degree and also qualify for their master's.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. So basically, these are some of the things you need for most of their scholarships. You need your proposal, and then if you are coming from outside the South African region, you need your your verification certificate. There's yes, and then your proposal, and then your transcripts, and then your certificate. These are the things that you need for most of their scholarship schemes.
Okay. So, I mean, of course, across the globe, there are very basic steps involved in applying for, say, master's and PhD. You see the scholarship, you apply for admissions for that specific program, and then subsequently, you can apply for scholarship. In some situations, it is joint. So one application caters for both the admission and the scholarship. What is it like for you? How was it? Did you apply for them separately? And I know obviously application for masters are usually different from PhD. For PhD, you need to get in touch with the supervisor and then take it from there. Can you expand that a little bit so that people will know specifically how to go about that? Because from what you've indicated, there is funding, just that it's highly competitive. And I'm sure a lot of people would like to throw in the shot.
Yes, you should. In South Africa, you should have admission, because they will also require your admission letter before it, as a prerequisite for, as a criteria for the scholarship. So you should have your admission letter before you even start with the application. And then for masters, it cuts across masters and then a PhD. But then again, it's aside universities in South Africa, where in US they call the Ivy schools. In South Africa, we have some of them here, which is quite competitive, which has a bit of high fees and others. But then the others is quite okay compared to Ghana. Sometimes it's almost like the same in Ghana, the fees and then accommodation and almost everything. But then there are some that are quite expensive. So even, yes, for the scholarship, they are there. You can apply for most of them when you have all the criteria, all the documents that they need, you can apply. But in case you may also, and you still wish to also come over, yes, you can also look at some of these funding, some of these fees, and then see if you can, and then you can also apply through that. And then if you can self-fund yourself, you can also do that.
Okay, great. Let's clarify this before we move to the next thing we want to talk about. You are doing a joint PhD. If there's someone who is not clear about what it means to do a joint PhD in two different universities, how did that come about and how is that coordinated?
Yes, when we talk about a joint PhD, you should first have a host university where you've gotten admission. So for me, my host university is Stellenbosch University. That's where I'm doing my PhD. That's where I'm a full-timer in as a full-time student in Stellenbosch. And then you can use your admission to apply for a joint PhD in other university. So what's a joint PhD? There are two things about joint PhD. One, you can be given one certificate depending on the agreement in place between the universities. And then the second one is you can have 2 degrees, 2 PhDs. So for me, what I'm doing is I'm doing one research, one in Stellenbosch and other in Hasselt. And then at the end of the day, I'll collect my certificate in Stellenbosch and I'll collect my certificate in Hasselt. So at the end of the day, I'm going to get 2 PhDs, one in sports science, one in biomedical science, even though my research, it's one research, even though my data collection will be at these 2 universities. So yes, we have joint PhD where you do, but it all comes back to the agreement between the 2 universities.
Thanks very much, Danny. So before we move on, there's a question from Praise God Joseph. If you can see that on the screen, he says, please, okay, Daniel, what would you advise one who is studying exercise science and at some point is struggling with some course and even feels like quitting?
Okay, so for such a person, I will advise you sit down and then look at your interest, because there are some people who comes into the program without interest, and then if you are studying exercise science, then you will, if you are having any struggling with some of the courses, I encourage you to go to any of the lecturers and then talk to them. Let them know your struggles. Let them know where you are having issues with. And I know that all the any lecturer will be happy that a student comes to me and tell me, sir, I'm having issues here and there. So go to your lecturers, talk to them. And then again, you should also sit down and appraise yourself. Do you really have the interest? If you don't have interest, then I will advise you that you go in for what you have interest in, because it will be a waste of time. It's in quotes. Yeah, let me use that. It will be a waste of time when you are doing something you don't have interest in. At the end of the day, what do you achieve? So look at your interest. Do you really have the interest in studying what you are doing? If you have, then go to your lecturers, talk to them, let them know where your struggles are coming from, and then they will help you out in that.
Thank you, Danny. Moving on, the next question, which will be the premise for the next last topic we'll be discussing, is from Majua Sweetness. Obviously, you know who is sending this. My own niece. She asked, please, can I know the causes of obesity and then the prevention? So take this opportunity to educate us. If there's anyone who does not understand what obesity means, what the causes are, how we can prevent that, and the importance of exercise in our daily lives, and also to reduce or prevent obesity. If you can take 10 uninterrupted minutes.
Okay, so when we talk about obesity, we are looking at when you have excess accumulation of excess fat in your body, then you have more weight, like then you are said to be obese. And then normally there are a whole lot of measurements that we use to identify whether a person, but the common one has been the BMI, even though it has its own issue. But basically, when we talk about obesity, we are looking at how the fat is really distributed in the body. So yes, you see some people that have excess fat around their abdominal region, around their stomach. So you see them having more, they have a bigger stomach. In our local parlance, we say that then it means that the person has money. But then when you have more fat around that region, then you have a higher risk of getting some of these chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension, cancers, and then the rest. So that is it. When it comes to the causes, there are a whole lot of there are genetic causes. There are people who were born like that. So it's in their family. Genetically, they are obese. So genetics can also be one cause. Again, we also have the environmental factors. And the environmental factors, we are looking at the food, what you eat, what the amount, the type of food you are eating, and then the amount of food you are eating. So these can also cause. And again, sedentary lifestyle, physical inactivity. Are you exercising? People, most often than not these days, because of the advancement of technology, we are beginning to get more sedentary. We don't exercise, we move. So initially, you realize that things that you will have to do by doing some form of physical activity, these days, things have become so easy for us. So while growing up, when you want to change the channel of a TV station, you just have to walk to the TV station to change it. But today, I'll be sitting 100 meters away from the television and I can easily change it. So yes, so these are some of the, again, stress. The stress levels can also cause obesity. So these are some of the things that can cause obesity, but there are a whole lot of which I may not want to go in because not everyone understands some of these technicalities. Precious, you and I understand. So on the basics, on the face level, these are some of. So you are looking at genetics, things that you were born with, your genes can make someone obese. Physical inactivity, when you are not exercising, when you are not, low levels of physical activity can also cause that. And then the food you eat, nutrition also plays an important role. And when you talk about nutrition, probably you are also looking at the amount you eat, the type, and then when did you eat the food. These are all things that also plays a role in making someone obese. In the prevention, basically, when you talk about the prevention, when you go to the hospital and then we say you are obese, there are three main advices that we give, and which to me, I feel that is where the problem is coming from. One, you are asked to go and cut down on your food intake. Two, go and exercise. But you realize that even with people making conscious effort to exercise, people making conscious effort to cut down on their nutritional intake. At the population level, obesity rates keep increasing. And so you realize that if you look at from way back from the 1970s to 2020, you realize that the obesity rate has skyrocketed. It's just jumped about 40%. And so that is where the problem is. And then most of this has always been that, oh, don't eat fatty foods, don't eat this. But forgetting that most of the issues has already been, when it comes to the nutrition, has always been the processed carbohydrates. When fried rice came to Ghana, when you could easily go out, you realize that even the packaging was quite small. These days, you go out there and then you have a big package. You realize that the serving sizes are, when I'm talking about the serving size, I'm looking at how the size of the food that you are eating, how you were served. You realize that it keeps increasing. And then processed carb now don't want to produce any, but then you realize that soda, some of these sugary drinks are also easily on the market. And again, physical inactivity, like I said, advancement in Precious, you and I, when we were in KN University, we could walk from Konti, Kat, Africa, back to the faculty area. But these days, go there and then you realize that there is an availability of shuttle. Students go in, then they get there. So these are some of the things. And so if we want to prevent obesity, these are some of the things that we need to look at. And then again, because people are desperate to prevent, because people are there and they want to cut down on their weight, there have been so many instances, there are so many methods that people are using. People will tell you, oh, come and lose weight in 1 week, come lose weight in 2 weeks, come lose weight in, it doesn't work like that. You did not, your weight did not come as a result of 2 weeks. It took time, it accumulated. So you need to get time for yourself and allow yourself to go through the process too. Yes, there are processes where you can lose weight 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but that is not healthy. If you want to lose weight, then you lose weight healthy. How do you then lose weight healthy? One, try and then increase your physical activity, which we all know. But then you should also know that even with nutrition and exercise that we are talking about, the key point here is adherence and sustainability. That is the key point. If you are not ready to adhere, if you are not ready to sustain to the exercise program that you want to, yes, so you can start with your jogging, you can increase, you started, so you can start probably walking for probably 30 minutes a day, and then you keep increasing it. So probably this week you decided that I will always try and walk, or you can use, now there are pedometers available on our phones, on everything, which you can also use. So if you decide that you make 20, you are going to get 2,000 steps per day. You make sure that the next time you increase it to 3,000 steps, it goes to 4,000 steps, 5,000. But then the key word is adherence. Make sure that you adhere. It becomes part of your life. So for us, you are not going to stop eating today. You only stop eating when you die. You must also make sure that you exercise till you die. You must always make sure that you increase your physical activity till you die. And there are a whole lot of physical activity, jogging, even the normal walking, just that you walk briskly. So you walk briskly, you make sure that you increase it. You don't do it if you do one form of exercises for a period, it leads to boredom, and then you yourself begins to, so you increase it. But then the key word here, which I want us to know, that even with the unhealthiest of diets and exercise, adherence and sustainability can make someone lose. Even with the unhealthiest one, there are a whole lot of nutritional schemes out there, which people are saying, I just don't want to. But then even with that, but then at the end of the day, while you are also looking at it, you should also know that at the end of the day, is it healthy? So while you are looking for any nutritional and then exercise program that you want to do, the key word is adherence, sustainability, and health. In the long term, is it going to lead to a healthy weight loss, which we all want to? And again, make sure that you adhere and then sustain. So these are the three words I want us to do. So when you need any form of exercise, any form of exercises that you can do, the most important thing, like the saying goes, if you can't walk, crawl. At least there should be some form of movement. There should be some form of movement. And today, if you are crawling, the next time you can walk, the next time you can jog, the next time you can run. this is how it should go. So don't start and then see because you are just starting, you want to jog, you want to run like Usain Bolt. It doesn't work like that. Start from your level and then increase it as you move along.
You should know your level, as someone tags a song, isn't it? Great. Thanks very much for the great education. I'm just doing one question because of our time. We are almost hitting the top of the hour. For you did mention that, I mean, because of technology and all that, I am a classical example. My work requires that I have a very sedentary lifestyle. What sort of exercises will you recommend to people who sit behind a computer for a long time, people who are involved in activities and jobs and other things that require that they sit for the long time within the day? And also, I know growing up, I'm just asking this for the purpose of clarity. People might see that, oh, exercise at least 3 times a day, 30 minutes to maybe 45 minutes. Are there any prescriptions of exercises, like within a week, you need to exercise at least 3 times a day, or it doesn't matter? All that is important is, like you said, sustainability and then consistency and all that.
No, there is some form of prescription, which almost I think every 5 years or every 2 years, I'm not so sure, which WHO update their guidelines. So we have the WHO, I think the last one is the 2022 physical activity guidelines, which I recommend that at least each person should have 30 minutes of exercise at least 3 times in a week. But then, like I said, if you start with 30 minutes, you can always increase it. But the most important thing is you must always allow your muscles to also rest. So you are not expected to exercise throughout the day, throughout the week, 7 times in a week. No. Yes, if for people who are involved in athletics, who are involved in sports, that is a different. But for our health, you can exercise at most 5 times in a week, allow some time for the muscles to heal, and at least 3 times. And then the least time you can also exercise is 30 minutes a day. And then you can upgrade to, let's say, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and then as you improve. So yes, there is a guidelines. Anybody can go for the WHO guidelines on physical activity, which stipulates all these things that I'm talking about. But then all that I want to know and people to understand it. Yes, even with all these things, if you start today and tomorrow you stop, you don't gain anything. You must adhere. For you to really improve, you must adhere. And then again, Precious, one thing is when it comes to weight loss, people really begin to get so much concern about their weight gain that, and then the weight loss, that they forget about some of the benefits that they gain in exercise, from exercise. So even for people that are obese and want to lose weight, yes, that is your ultimate. But then if you exercise for 1 week, 2 weeks, and you don't see anything, or probably for a month or so and you don't lose and you don't see your weight dropping, know that there is some form of benefits that you are occurring. For example, insulin sensitivity and all of these things, exercise helps to improve all of them. So yes, don't only look at the weight loss per se, but look at the overall benefits that you are gaining from the exercise.
Great. Sedentary lifestyle, what sort of basic exercises?
So for people, like you said, you stay with your laptop for quite some time, I will advise that you stand up and walk around intermittently, because sitting down for too long also has its own effect on your waist and others. So you can intermittently walk around and then walk around for to gain some form of activity, which will also help, even though they might not be substantial. But then even with the little that you do, it can also go a long way to affect your health. So yes, intermittently you can stand up and walk around and then come back and sit. And then at some point again, you can also walk around, stand up and then walk around. Instead of sitting down from 8 to 5, it wouldn't help you.
Thank you. Let me ask a very random question that just dropped in my, I think some weeks ago, I was just reading a news article and I came across one that says that I think within 3 years or so, there are a number of bodybuilders, within a year, there are a number of bodybuilders that have died, I think in US or so. I'm not so sure of the country, but it's likely to be US. I'm just wondering, of course, there are other confounding factors, other things that could cause their death, but what could be the situation for people who are bodybuilders that we expect, or our suspicion should be that they should be very fit And even footballers, we've had different incidents. I think recently Ericsson also was on the field and he had a heart attack and all that. Where lies that advantage or the benefit we are expecting from exercise? That the heart should be pumping well, their body should be okay and all that. Why do we have these situations or circumstances occurring among people who we expect to be very fit because of their constant and regular exercises?
Yeah, these things do occur, but then one, you should also look at whether they are also, for example, the weight, the bodybuilders you are talking about, were they taking any other drugs? Because most of these, for them to be able to build the muscles that we normally see, resort to some of these drugs. Some of them are even banned, some of them which go a long way to affect the heart. And that is why we have all these doping centers all over the world, the World Anti-Doping Agency trying to advise athletes to stay away from some of these drugs. So yes, you can also look at that, whether they are also taking some or any of these drugs that have been banned or that have an adverse effect on their health. That is one. Again, in the course of exercising, your risk to some of these, your risk to heart attack is at a higher level than someone who is not exercising. So as you are running, as you are moving about, because the heart is pumping blood, there could be any electrical malfunction within the heart that could lead to some of these heart attacks. So that is there. If you look at Ericsson's issue, it wasn't undetected. It was at that point when they realized that yes, it could happen at any point in time, even if you do not have any, even if it has not been detected in you or you have not even shown sign. In the course of exercising, it is highly possible that you have a higher risk of getting some of these heart attacks. But when you are done with it, the benefits that come from the exercises that you have done far outweighs the risk that you went through when exercising. So yes, they might, the bodybuilders may have issues, especially with some of the drugs that they take. Some of them takes too much as drugs so that they will be able to build their muscles. And it's in trying to build their muscles, some of them also affect the heart, try to build the heart muscles, make them bigger, and in that way could lead to some of these heart conditions that are normally found among some of these athletes. So yes, so when they take some of these drugs, that makes the heart a bit larger than their usual sizes. And aside that also, probably some of them already have some of these symptoms or risk already there, which has not been detected, and that could lead also to heart attack. But then in the course of exercising, these are some, your risk of getting some of these heart attack is also on the increase than someone who is not exercising at that particular time. So these are some of the things I can readily give as explanations to why we are seeing some of these things.
Thank you, Danny. We are behind time. Just if you can, 2 questions from our comment sections. If you can attend to them, 30 seconds maximum, okay, that would be great. One person, praise God, Joseph says, cancer, especially in the breast, is now rampant. Is there any way exercise can help in preventing cancers?
Yes, exercise has been implicated in the prevention. There are, especially when it comes to aerobic form of exercises, because the reason behind this is that it's cancers, most of them are caused by oxidants. And so when you have aerobic exercise, which helps you to produce so many of these antioxidants, then it can help you. So yes, exercise has been implicated, especially, and there are so many cancer units all over the world that are trying to make their clients or their patients also exercises in order to treat these cancers. In US, I think we have what we call the clinical exercise cancer specialist. So for them, their main role is to use exercise in treating cancer. So yes, exercise has a role to play in the treatment of cancers. Yeah.
Amazing. And the last question I'll take from our viewers is, good evening. That's from Janet T. Jima. Can you please go into details what you need to apply for the scholarship aside the admission letter? So if you can take about 30 seconds to rehash the main things. Like you said, it differs, but if you can highlight the main things you require to apply for scholarship, especially in South Africa, that would be great. We'll be grateful.
Okay, so aside your admission letter, make sure that you have your proposal ready. You have your proposal ready. You have your SACA certificate, which is the South African Qualification Authority, which verify your certificates. You have that certificate also already. And then you have your transcripts from the various universities you've gone, and then the certificates. And then they also require you to have your passport. So already before you even decide to travel, I know that's why I didn't mention it, but you have a passport, and then you have your transcripts, and then you have your certificates, your SACA certificate, your admission letter, and then your proposal.
Thanks very much, Danny. It's been a nice time chatting with you, my brother. We are grateful for coming. This is just away from it. Unfortunately, sadly, one of the world's top football agents, Mino Riola, unfortunately is gone. He's died. May his soul rest in perfect peace. I know there's a lot of money in football agency. Are you setting up an agency soon? Because I think you're on the path. What do you think?
Yeah, basically I've thought about it. I'm trying to talk to some few people. I have one person I'm trying to see if I can manage, but then this is just things that's it's a future thing I'm looking at, not not currently, but because not really about the money per se, but I feel that in Ghana you realize that we have most of our athletes who know the sport, but because of, let's say, money to push them, or because of, let's say, the connection to push them, that is where the problem is. So I feel we need if I'll be able to help in that regard, why not? I know a couple of my mates who are currently into football agency, but then hey, in Ghana it's not easy. Probably you'll be able to get one fat fish on your food when you are able to transfer to Europe or the Asia. But in Ghana, Charlie, it's
of course,
it's
people are still doing it, and they are getting a lot of money. So viewers, I think the point I wanted to make is that football agency, or being a football agent, also falls within the category of sports and exercise science. So in case you are considering any of these, and I have one very good player, Samuel Trim, I want to bring to your agency when you establish it. So let's
talk about it later. I can link you to Eric. Eric will be able to take him on.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much again. We are grateful. Any final words within 1 minute? If you want to summarize anything you've said, rehash anything, if you want to give shout out to anyone, just within 1 minute, you'll be grateful.
Okay. All that I want to say is I believe that a whole lot of Ghanaians, or a whole lot of your viewers, will want to either go for postgraduate or may want to travel outside for greener pasture. But then it's not easy. On the academic front, it's not easy. Sometimes people see you and they are like, hey, how did you get here? How did you get there? It has not been easy. It's only by the grace of God we've been able to. But it takes determination. Don't think it's easy. But if you are determined to reach the level that you want to, you will definitely get there. So be determined in whatever. It's not easy. Sometimes you get all these distractors, people that will want to detract you from your actual goals. But be determined, focus, and concentrate on whatever you want to achieve in life, and the ultimate will just be your goal.
Great. Any shout out to anyone?
Yeah, to my wife, who I know it's watching, and then to all my friends.
Mention her name properly, young man.
You said.
Can't you mention her name properly and giving her the right
herself? She knows herself.
Okay, all right.
My wife, Mami Kredu, who is currently watching, and then to my good friends, Tony, to the head of department for the physiotherapy and sports science department in KNUST, Dr. Moses, and to any of my students in KNUST. I greet you. And I
Dr. Moses, my regards to you. I'm sure you'll keep in touch soon. We have an unfinished business, isn't it? Danny.
Of course, we have unfinished business. We will definitely meet at the back door.
Definitely. Thanks very much, Danny, for coming. Viewers, we are grateful that you always join us. So perhaps if you joined late or you don't know what we've discussed, Danny has been able to tell us that he pursued a BSc Sports and Exercise Science. He's taking the opportunity to educate us on what sports and exercise science is about. He told us that you can go into a lot of areas or specialties as a sports and exercise science. You can work in a hospital, you can work in different centers. And the last thing I mentioned or brought about was football agency. You can do a whole lot of things. So if you had an erroneous impression that it's all about being a PE teacher, because I know back in school, people used to make fun of some of these things, just being in PE or just being a sports teacher. I mean, it's definitely far beyond that. Danny himself has set the pace. I know a lot of his colleagues and my colleagues who have gone on to do masters, PhDs, and all that. Danny himself is a PhD student. So there are a lot of things you can do with sports and exercise science. He's also taking the opportunity to tell us why a lot of people are pursuing postgraduate studies in South Africa and the process or what you require to get in there. So in case you join later, you can watch it again. And lastly, we spoke about obesity, its effect on, our lives and how we can benefit from exercises. So these are the things we've spoken about broadly, and I hope it's been beneficial. Then if someone wants to contact you for some sort of support, guidance, and all that, how do they reach you?
Okay, no problem. Okay, so the person can reach me on my Facebook account as Asante on Facebook. The person can also reach me on WhatsApp on +233 248 793527. So these are basically the two forms that the person can reach me.
Amazing. Thanks very much, viewers. This program has been sponsored by Handbag 60 Hub. Handbag 60 Hub. In case you need bags, books, watches, you need any of these to be shipped to you, sourced or bought from any part of the world and shipped to you, we encourage you to deal with the best of agencies. Handbag 60 Hub on +233 546 022 952, or send them an email at handbagtravels@gmail.com, or on Facebook, contact them at Handbag 60 Hub, and they'll do the best of works for you. They have been the proud sponsors of this program, and the program is ably produced by Mr. James Kwabena Opong, and I have been your host, Precious Adadidiodu. We hope to come your way same time next 2 weeks with another exciting one. So please keep watching out, look out for the flyer, and also recommend our page to other people. Whilst you leave your comments, share, like, subscribe to our channels on Facebook and on YouTube. The name is The Discovery Show TDS TV, and also on Instagram it is at The Discovery Show _TDS TV, and on Twitter the name is at Discovery Show 20, at Discovery Show 20. We have been speaking to Mr. Daniel Afrifa, who is offering or pursuing a joint PhD at Stellenbosch University in South Africa and also Hasselt University in Belgium. All the best, Danny. It's been a nice time speaking to you, my brother, and have a nice evening.
Thank you so much for hosting me on your program.
Stay blessed.